You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
What a beautiful day for horses in the morning.
You are listening to the #1 horse podcast in the world. Here is your entertaining look at the horse world and the people in it.
Good morning, everybody. I am Glenn the Geek in Ocala, Florida.
And I am Jamie Jennings in Norman, Oklahoma. You're listening to Horses in the Morning on the Horse Radio Network for Wednesday, October 22nd, episode 3802. Good morning, horse people.
Wednesday, the day we cover Glenn's favorite topic, horse health. And Jamie makes you feel better about yourself with the latest weird news from around the world. Let's go! Happy Wednesday!
That's right. It is Wednesday, and yes, it is Horse Health Day. But it's going to be an informative, fun day today. We have Dr. Anna Bracken on. She's going to join us to talk about nutrition for winter for horses and the changes that we should be making with the weather changing as it is. And then we have an amazing artist, Larissa Ann, is going to talk to us about the art that she does and the paintings that she does on saddles. And what do we have? Weird news?
Yeah, well, see, when you said informative and interesting, I can tick one of those boxes with weird news.
Okay, good.
But that's it. Sorry.
And then in the Auditor Post Show, we're going to do some random stuff. I have a documentary that you all should see, and we're just there's some other announcements that I need to make as well. And I know Jamie has some things too, so we'll do that in the Auditor Post Show. I made a mistake on Monday's show. I'm sorry. I'm human. It happens. I got called out.
So embarrassing.
I had said that 2 American eventers won 5 stars in the last 10 years, and I said that Philip was one of them, that Philip won Kentucky, and I was wrong. It was Boyd Martin. So,
and I will tell you
those
that
two
that
are
is
a lot alike.
Well, and that's the stuff I lose sleep over, is making mistakes like that. Like if I say the wrong horse won the Breeders' Cup Classic, and I can't sleep that night. So I'm glad it was you.
I slept fine. I don't think Philip or Boyd actually listened, so I'm probably okay.
You're going to get a poop package in the mail from Boyd for messing it up.
But anyway, I did make a mistake, and I'm sorry. I apologize to Boyd, who actually did win. So sorry about that. All right, let's do some daily Whinnies before I get in any more trouble. Okay, we have no auditor birthdays today, so
Woo!
I'm going to give somebody a daily Whinnie that I think in 15 years of doing this show, I've never had a reason to do it.
Okay.
I've never had a reason to mention the Pope in a relation to horses, but I do now. Pope Leo was presented, and I'm going to give him my daily Whinnie. He was presented with an unusual gift, a purebred Arabian stallion named Proton. It was a Polish horse breeder who was doing an audience with the Pope, and he actually brought Proton along and presented him to the Pope, and the Pope took him like he knew what he was doing. And then it did come out in some of the articles that apparently the reason that he presented him that gift, he had seen pictures of the Pope riding horses during his missionary work in Peru. He would ride horses from one place to another, so apparently he was very familiar with horses. And then in the article, Jamie, it came up that I was going, well, was a horse going to live right there in the Vatican? I didn't see much grass in the Vatican, and apparently they have a farm the Vatican has a farm outside of town. A little one, it's a very large farm. It's 135 acres. It's much larger than Vatican City, and it has a complete equestrian center, and there's a small collection of horses there.
So let me get this straight. We could just give the Pope horses because Groot is looking for a permanent home.
Well, isn't the Pope supposed to be generous and kind and want to save things? Yes, you could give him Groot. I think that'd be perfect.
Let's go, buddy. Get in the trailer. We're going to the airport.
I will say that this horse looked a little younger and probably in a little better shape than Groot right now. But
he looks great.
But so congratulations to the Pope on owning by the way, Proton's a great name for a horse too. I'm going to throw that in there. It's a great name. So there, first time ever I've had a chance to talk about the Pope. I grew up Catholic.
He can sleep tonight too.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, wait a minute. Wrong one. This one.
Well, my dear sweet husband took me out to a fancy birthday dinner. There's one fancy Italian restaurant in Norman, and I've never been
You
there.
didn't go to the bank again? The bank?
I did not go. That's Oklahoma City.
Oh, okay.
We kept it local.
Okay.
And we went right down the street to a place called Benvenuti's. And it's a fancy Italian place. And I've never been. And I'll tell you why I've never been. Because Farm Boy's ex-girlfriend works there. And so it's been like super weird. He's like, yeah, I don't go there. Like she knows you. Just don't. Just avoid it. So for the first time, I went to Benvenuti's because I don't know.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure. I know she wasn't our waitress. I'm pretty sure she was the hostess though, because I did get some really friendly looks when I walked in. Because it went really well at the end of their relationship. I mean, like, why am I immersed in college kid relationship drama and he's not even here
And
anymore?
why does that stop you from eating places?
I know, but I went and I was like, and Chad was like, which one is she? And I was like, I'm pretty sure that's the hostess. And he goes, she does look familiar. And I'm like, I know, right? And I'm all like, just say something about my farm boy. Like I was ready to get all mama bear, but she was very well behaved and so was I. And I sat down and had a lovely dinner. So I think we're okay now. I think I can now go, although it's probably a special occasion kind of place.
Yeah.
It was really good.
It sounds really expensive with that name.
Yeah. It was, but again, I've paid a lot of money for crap food, and we paid a lot of money for really good food. So that's the
What do you eat at an
difference.
Italian restaurant? What did you get?
Okay, so I'm glad you asked because we started with the caprese.
My
the
favorite thing
bruschetta.
of all time. Caprese.
Yeah, went with the bruschetta instead of the caprese because the bruschetta had the same kind of cheese on it. It was so delicious. It was like a caprese bruschetta. And then out came a salad, like an Italian salad with olives on the side. Then out came the pasta.
Italians
and
tend to eat a lot of olives.
I got this. It was like this pasta with tomatoes and olive oil and spinach and shrimp. And those on the side. So that's what Chad ate. He ate all my shrimp. And then to top it off, I ate creme brulee because that is my all-time favorite dessert. And I don't care for dessert, but I'll eat the heck out of some creme brulee. Oh my God, it was so good. And then I had to have a pink gin cocktail. However, I don't like gin, so I substituted it for Tito's vodka.
You had a pink vodka cocktail.
And she came up and she was like, just so you know, it's not going to be pink because the gin is pink. And I was like, I don't care. But it had like a flower in it. It was really pretty.
Somebody probably complained. They didn't get a pink one, and they complained about it. And that's
I'm
why
sure they did.
Yeah,
And
that's
to
why
be
she
fair,
brought it
now
up.
I'm hungry again. So thanks for that.
Speaking of caprese, we found wonderful balsamic sauce for caprese. It's made specifically for that. And one thing, you know how our garden failed miserably this year?
Yeah.
Herbs we can grow. Apparently, herbs are a good thing to grow here because
Anybody can grow basil, buddy.
oh,
Sorry.
we have large basil plants, huge ones, and we have all the herbs actually. So we've been doing a lot of caprese this summer and absolutely enjoying the heck out of it. So
Now I'm hungry.
So non-GMO whole food nutrition is the basis of the
Benvenuti's.
of the entire Daily Dose Equine program. All Daily Dose feeds are minimally processed to retain full integrity of the original ingredients. They start with high-quality oats, whole barley, hay pellets, sunflower seeds, and beet pulp. The grains and soybeans are roasted for safety and then mixed with the remaining ingredients and bagged. They add no fillers, no wheat, no corn, no soybean meal, no hulls, and no distiller's grains. Feed lasts yet improve body condition and energy. At Daily Dose Equine, they never forget natural is better and simplicity is key. Learn more at dailydoseequine.com or visit chewy.com or Tractor Supply to buy yours today. Well, next up, we have Larissa Ann, and she is a fellow employee of the Equine Network, although I really don't know what she does. But we'll find out. But we're having her on today because she is an unbelievable artist. And some of you that were at the Kentucky 3-day event will have seen her saddles. She takes saddles and paints them, and it's just beautiful. And I know they were on display there. Larissa, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, very much my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Well, before we get to all your art stuff, you came to work from Equine or to Equine Network, but you were military before, right?
Yeah, that's right. I've been a horse girl my whole life, but I actually served in the military active duty army for 12 years before I moved over to Equine Network.
Well, thanks for doing that.
Yeah,
Appreciate
it's
it.
been my absolute pleasure.
What's it going to be like staying in one place for a while, or are you just going to keep moving around every 3 years?
No, I actually had a pretty unique career because I came to Fort Bragg in North Carolina in 2014, and I've stayed here but just moved units at the same base.
How
So
did you
I got
fix
really
that?
lucky. Well, I joined and I had actually a 2-year train up because I don't know if anyone's familiar with military intel, but it's a lot of training before you actually get to do the job, which I'm grateful for. But then you can move units. So I went airborne and I served in the 82nd Airborne, jumped out of planes for my whole
cool.
career and finished over in special operations. So because I was moving between units and kind of growing in my career, I got to stay at this amazing place.
How badass are you? That's very cool. That's very cool.
Not as cool. I thought it was going to be like Angelina Jolie and Tomb Raider, and I
Yeah.
didn't get that cool, but I did meet people who are absolutely incredible.
You weren't quite up to the Black Widow cool. Not quite that cool.
No, I mean, I was trying for it, but never quite made it.
You're still cool. In our book, you're still cool. And what do you do for Equine Network?
At Equine Network, I'm actually a marketing operations manager. So I work with Spalding Labs. I think you guys have run some of our ads on the show, but I get to manage a lot of the marketing and behind the scenes thing to try and communicate with customers and make sure that it's a kind of complicated product with the fly predators and they're live shipped bugs. And I get to do a lot of the behind the scenes content creation and strategy of how we're reaching people and how we're communicating in a way that actually helps them solve fly control problems and is as simple and easily to implement as possible.
We just got our last batch yesterday. I know a lot of people have stopped getting them because it's actually getting cold, but we're in Florida. So we just got our last batch yesterday and we're waiting for them to hatch so we can put them out. But that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about your amazing art. I'm going to put a picture of you holding the saddles that you brought to Kentucky. And first of all, where did the idea of actually painting saddles come from?
So I can't actually take credit for the idea. A great girl named Nicole who used to work at Equine Network, that was her idea. And it was to celebrate Practical Horseman's 50th anniversary back in 2023. So her amazing idea. And then I had been painting at the Carolina Horse Park because it's right in my backyard. And I did a live event for the first time that same year, but I had done painted horses. So the life-size horse statues like people have maybe seen in Kentucky. I've done a couple of those as fundraisers. So I've done some 3D kind of unusual type of art, but the saddles were her idea.
Well, and they're absolutely beautiful. What kind of paint do you use that actually stays on a saddle? How do you do it?
It's actually a paint that was made for custom sneakers. So a brand called Angelus makes the paint, and it's an acrylic product that you have to clean the leather really well. So all the pony clubbers know with the toothbrush and the dental picks, like, you have to get the leather so clean so there's no oil, but then it's an acrylic and I put a clear coat.
Wow. And do you do this as a commission too? If somebody wants their old saddle painted with the horse that maybe they rode on it, rode it with?
Yes, I do. I actually did one in 2024 that was a commission piece, and it was actually one of Boyd Martin's horse's owners for Commando 3. So we did a saddle for him to actually have, and he's got that on display at his home.
How cool is that? This is such a unique thing. And I'm sure it took, does the paint stay? Does it last?
Yeah, the paint lasts. So I kind of mentioned the cleaning. So I get the leather so there's no oil and then really get it. You're never going to ride in it again.
Right.
But it's a great display piece and it should hold up for as long as you take care of it, really.
And what kind of other art do you do?
I do some traditional paintings as well. So just things on paper and canvas, wood. I do commissions. I was so lucky to do a commission for Phil Dutton last year with one of the horses that he had retiring, as well as Colleen Rutledge. So I do traditional portraits. I think my art's a little bit different from some people's in that I am a horse girl and a bit of a nerd. So I always dig into people's stories and I love talking to people and seeing, every horse girl has or guy has so many photos on their phone, and I want to see all of them, and really, really tell the story of that relationship.
You can tell with your art that you do that you take the time. You can tell that for sure. Do you only do horses, or do you do dogs or other things as well?
No, I do animals. I do nature too. Like I grew up and I was like in the ecology club. I was always that kid who was like, my favorite game was to like be an animal. So pretending to be like a dog or cat, but I love animals, and paint all different animals and nature. I've just really leaned in with the horses because they're my heart animal. I actually just became a horse owner recently, but that's one of my big passions. And I think that shows in the work, but
okay,
yeah,
tell us
animals and
about your
nature.
horse. You can't just throw that out there and then not tell us about your horse.
Oh, I'm still geeking out about it, and I can't believe it. His name is Connor, and I actually met him several years ago at a friend's barn, and just fell in love with him. He's a big goofball Labrador Retriever type personality, but I think he's like 17.2. He's massive, and he's the most beautiful horse I've ever seen. And he did a suspensory in his right front, and just needed some time to recover. So I offered I'd take him on for the recovery portion, and it's been about a year now. Very happy to report that he is back in work. He's back over small fences, which he's very excited about. And his owners were so generous and gave me the opportunity to buy him out of the lease. So as of 2 weeks ago, he is officially mine.
Yay! Congratulations! And what
Thank
flavor
you.
is he?
He is a giant, handsome warm blood that in my wildest horse girl dreams, I never could have imagined riding ever.
An event horse, I assume?
Yes. Yeah. He ran the 3-star, and I have never evented. So just the amount of power and energy and expression that he has is unbelievable. So I count my blessings every day.
I bet. When he gets really sound, those little jumps, he doesn't even look at those. I mean, he just
Well, he thinks they're pretty exciting now.
He's clearing them by 4 feet, but yeah,
exactly. He wants to eat them up.
So do you have anything art-wise available for the holidays?
I do. I actually do a collection of hand-painted ornaments every year. So after work, every evening, I've got Parks and Rec on the TV, and I'm painting these little porcelain ornaments. And I have a couple of designs that I do each year. It's only a handful because I only have so much time. But those will be available in mid-November.
And where can people find them if they want to look for them?
I've got my website is actually set up. It's larissaann.com, but I'm also on socials. I'm at Larissa Ann Art on Instagram and Facebook. And I would just love to connect with people there too. I'm so inspired by people's horse stories and pictures, and would really just love to have that community.
And if somebody wants a commission for a relative, whether it's on canvas or a saddle or a refrigerator, apparently she can do it all. What would be the best idea for that?
I think this time of year in particular, where we're coming up on the holidays quickly, I encourage people, whether it's with me or another artist, to gift a gift certificate so that a person can have the experience of working with an artist. I think for anyone worth their salt that's painting animals in particular, someone who wants to get to know about that animal and find out the details that make them extra special, look at pictures with you. I think giving someone that experience is really, really an amazing gift.
And they can do that on your website or just contact you through the website?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Very good. I love this. And thank you for joining us today. We appreciate it. And have fun this holiday season.
Thank you very much, you guys. Happy holidays, everyone.
We are not the only ones that give away tons of stuff here on the show. There's another company that does, and that's State Line Tech, giving away thousands of dollars of prizes every single month. That's right. You could win big just by participating in their monthly giveaway. Head on over to State Line Tech's website and check out their giveaway page. It's really cool this month. They're giving away an ARC equine therapy system, as well as some of the Lamisil therapeutic gel ice boots, which we had a review on not too long ago. So they're giving away those cool things. There'll be 7 additional winners that will receive e-gift cards on future purchases. You just head on over there. It's easy to fill out. There's like a couple of questions. You fill them out and you're entered in the giveaway. And they announce who the winners are every month, which is kind of cool because you actually know they're actually giving the stuff away. They put it right there on the page. So be sure to check that out every month. And you want to go win the ARC Equine Therapy System today by heading over to statelinetac.com and click on the giveaway banner, and it'll take you right to the page you need to be. And don't forget, we do have a coupon code. It's HRN. It gets you 25% off any order of $49 or more. There are some products that are excluded, so put the stuff in your cart and then put the HRN coupon code in your cart, and it'll show you which products it applies to. There are certain products that are restricted and can't be discounted. So HRN is always the coupon code that we use, and it's 25% off any order of $49 or more at State Line Tac.
Well, speaking of giving stuff away, I got a package in the mail, and I just wanted to give a special shout out to a listener named Joanne Kutchell. Joanne listens to us, Glenn. You've met her when she does her gardening.
Yeah.
She lives in California, and it's like the second Farm Boy mention in the same day, because she sent me a t-shirt. And now that you've seen The Princess Bride, you will understand the t-shirt. And it's a picture of a couple horses, and it says, "Suck it up, Buttercup." And it made me realize that you now understand all references related to The Princess Bride.
That's funny.
Glenn, who is Buttercup?
Buttercup is the princess, right?
Oh my God. Yes, right. Of course. It is the princess.
The one I didn't like, the princess who was useless. The useless princess.
The useless. Most princesses in all those shows are always
That's pretty
useless.
much true, yeah. They're not superheroes, that's for sure.
But I can mention Farm Boy and Buttercup, and you just get me now. I'm so proud. Anyway, thanks for the t-shirt, Joanne. I love it. Appreciate it. And I would like to welcome to the show the clinical instructor at Colorado State University, Dr. Anna Bracken. Dr. Bracken, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So, I mean, being that you're in Fort Collins, Colorado, I feel like you should have a fairly good handle on winter. Is that true?
Yeah, I think that's safe to say. Luckily, our winters here are cold, but not like northern Minnesota type of cold.
Gotcha. Well, you're going to help anybody that is at least along your plane or south, which is Glenn and I both. But starting out, I guess kind of one of the things going into winter for people in Minnesota or Florida is, how much am I supposed to be feeding my horses?
Mm-hmm. That's usually the question people have for us is, what do I have to change? What do I have to do differently in the winter? And the short answer is usually you just have to feed them more hay. Horses keep warm the best by eating. If you think about them basically as having an internal combustion engine, you need to fuel that. And that's the best way for them to generate heat, is to be kind of constantly grazing and consuming forage. So the best way you're going to keep them warm is by throwing more hay at them.
And here in Oklahoma, we use round bales. And I've had a discussion with a former boarder about how much she wanted her horse kept in the stall. And in her mind, it was better to keep the horse in the stall and throw it a flake or two at night than to let it out in the pasture on a round bale. Do you have a preference for one of those?
I would say it's very horse specific. I mean, I think we have all experienced, that we have these beautiful stalls and shelters that we make for our horses, and you look outside and they're standing out in the rain or the snow. And you think, well, gosh, why did I bother? So horses definitely, they like being outside. That's how they're meant to be. And if they have access to grazing or a round bale, then that's perfectly adequate for the majority of horses. Now, where it gets a little trickier is when you have horses that are they're challenged in some way. Maybe they have some mobility issues, or especially our geriatric population, which, our horses are living longer now. So it's not unusual for us to have active horses well into their 20s and 30s. And those guys might have a harder time with the round bale situation, especially in winter, if they're having to navigate, deeper snow to get to that round bale, or if they're having to, jockey for position at the bale to get a mouthful because they have a herd mate that might be a little bit pushy, then those horses might be in a better situation if we separate them so that we can make sure that their intake is guaranteed.
All right, Doc. So it's funny you mentioned the older horse. I have a 33-year-old horse who is kind of a draft cross. He's an anomaly. It's amazing that he's just living the dream, but he has a stall with a pasture attached. And now, mind you, he can't eat round bales. He can't eat hay. Everything is presented to him in a mush diet. He's the king around here. And he has a stall with an attached paddock, and I'm constantly like, Duke, come outside and be a horse. And you open that stall door and he won't leave. He's like, no, I'm going to stay here in this paddock by myself. Mm-hmm. So when you talk about jockeying for position, I'm like, he jockeys me for position. He's like, I'm not going to be a horse today. I'm not going out with those darn kids. I'm going to stay right here in this little shed and with my little paddock turnout and live that life with food brought to me. Several times a day.
Sounding good to me right now, actually.
I know, that sounds pretty nice.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's so fun. I love it, especially when it's like 12 degrees outside. It's really fun. Yep. But speaking of him, what are some things that you would recommend for seniors that in addition to, right now he gets beet pulp and rice bran and alfalfa pellets all soaked. But what are some things that maybe vitamins and minerals or nutrients, anything that I can supplement him with as the winter is coming right now?
Well, some of the things that happen with our senior horses, you mentioned that he's living the mush lifestyle. Not unusual for our older guys because their teeth usually start to expire around the age of 20. So when you have a 33-year-old horse, chances are he has already outlived all of his teeth. So he is not going to be able to chew hay very well. Long stem fiber is probably not an option for him.
Yeah, we gave that up years ago.
Yeah. I have a pony like this too. He'll kind of play with it. We call it his recreational hay. But the bulk of his nutrition comes from eating a complete senior feed. So it's not unusual for our geriatrics to have to be on a completely pelleted diet. So senior feed is usually the easiest, kind of most common thing that we reach for because it is a complete feed. So it provides all of the nutrition that they need if they eat just the senior feed. Now, that being said, during winter in particular, some of our older guys, they burn more calories trying to keep warm. They're shivering perhaps, or, when they're not as mobile, sometimes they're less willing, as you mentioned that your guy is more apt to stay in his nice cozy stall than he is to wander around. So we have to watch them a little more closely for losing condition during the winter because they're not, they don't have the body reserves. They usually don't have the muscle mass or the fat stores that are going to help them stay warm throughout the winter. So often what I like to do for these guys is add additional sources of digestible fiber. So beet pulp is a great option for that. You mentioned rice bran. So that's adding basically a fat supplement because that's an easy way to add calories that's not high in sugar because often these guys are sugar restricted. And so adding calories to the diet in those forms is really beneficial. But one thing I really like for these guys is more protein. So you mentioned alfalfa pellets, which is probably the easiest, most accessible way to get added protein into their diet. But there's also some really great amino acid supplements on the market that can be a very easy way to add specifically protein to the diet without having to add a tremendous amount of bulk. Because, of course, we've all experienced the senior horse that starts to get a little bit picky as well, and there's a limit to how much they're willing to eat once you start adding 15 different supplements. And it can be really frustrating if you make this beautiful curated mash for them and they turn up their nose and walk away.
It's like you're in my barn right now because I was buying the most beautiful, expensive senior feed and presenting it to him. And he's like, no, I'm not going to eat that.
Yeah.
And so I had to go back to just like the regular cheap, like 12/8 feed that some of the other easier keepers are eating. And it's like so frustrating because I'm like, just eat the food. It's so good.
Yep.
So, but you mentioned amino acids. Tell me about like, how do those come? I've never given those as a supplement.
Well, so the specific product that I've used pretty frequently that I really like for my senior horses is called Purina Super Sport. And it is a specific amino acid supplement. So it's protein and not a whole lot else. So it's a top dress supplement. So you don't have to add a ton of it, but it's an easy way to get the added protein into the diet to help our older guys maintain their muscle mass. Because we see the muscle wasting partly because they're not as active as they used to be. And then it can be partly because they have, perhaps some arthritis issues, some other soft tissue injuries, or some endocrine disorders like Cushing's that contribute to the loss of muscle. So in order to help them stay as mobile as possible, we need to make sure that they're not losing all of their muscle. And that's going to give them a harder time staying warm as well. If they don't have as much kind of oomph to them, they're going to have a harder time getting around. They're not going to be as effective as far as keeping themselves warm. That's part of why we often have to end up with more blankets on these guys than we do on our younger horses as well.
So basically with the senior horse, it's just going to cost me more money and more work. Okay. Got it. Check.
Yep. Pretty much. That's the unfortunate reality of the geriatric horse, especially you mentioned yours is a draft. It's not for the faint of heart to be feeding purely senior feed because those bags can add up pretty quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. So the other thing that I deal with a lot, and on the flip side, is what I deal with is the young thoroughbred off the track. And even just for our listeners, anybody else who has something that is not a senior, what I guess like for these young horses off the track, they don't have a whole lot of coat. They're very thin. What are some things that you suggest feeding those guys?
Well, in particular, those thoroughbreds that are straight off the track, like you said, they've got not a hair on them basically, and they're usually pretty darn lean. Thoroughbreds tend to be lean in general, but usually when they're racing fit, there's not an ounce of fat on them. So in particular, their first winter being let off, I would be prepared to blanket these guys at the very least on a day where it might be snowy or windy or wet, making sure that they have good access to a shelter. Those are obviously important things. But as far as feed, as I mentioned, the fiber is probably the most important thing as far as keeping them warm. So free choice access to grass hay is probably the most ideal thing that you can offer these guys. And then giving them additional things, the added protein. I love to give them some alfalfa. And then plus or minus, if you need to supplement them, I would say it's pretty normal for people to just reach for senior for any horse because it's easy. They might have it. They say, oh, he doesn't need a whole lot. I don't want him to be on a sweet feed or something like that, but he needs a little extra. So I'm going to just throw him some senior. And they love it. That's great. But senior feed is, because it's a complete feed, it is a fiber-based feed. So it's not really designed to be a supplement. It's not designed to be adding calories. It's meant to be a replacement for hay. So it ends up being sort of a lateral move. Whereas if you're trying to add the weight, if you're trying to give additional supplemental calories, there's other things that can really fit the bill for that. As we mentioned, a fat supplement or some of the other feeds that are designed to be added, for performance horses, for hard keepers. Every one of the major brands has a similar product that'll have added protein, added fat, added fiber, that is not designed to be a complete feed. So that would depend a little bit on what's available in your area, what your horse likes. But those are the guys that often need that supplemental feed stuff.
Gotcha. All right. So, Glenn, in keeping with the theme here, is basically it's another interview that's cost me money as I'm shopping in my local feed store, putting things in my shopping cart, as usual.
I picked up on earlier. She said the horses with it. How did you say it? Horses with issues or
sugar
or challenges or whatever. I got to tell you, every horse I've ever had has had that. So I don't know. Are there exceptions? Horses that don't present challenges.
What's normal?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What's an easy one?
Why do we feel like we always have the horses with problems?
I have a 10-year-old mini, and he's the easiest horse in the entire world because he eats about 4 molecules of a ration balancer and some grass hay. So
yeah, but is he naughty? Is he naughty?
Then he gets fat,
of course
and then
he's
you have to
naughty.
worry about laminitis, and then you got to worry about impaction colic. Like, it never quits.
We've been doing this show way too long, Doc. We've been doing this way too long. Everything that could go wrong with a horse we've talked about, and it just sticks in our brains.
Oh, yeah. If it can, it will. That's how horses are.
Dr. Bracken, thank you so much for joining us and basically costing me money and making Glenn feel like he's just completely normal, because we all have issues except for you and your mini. Where can people, if they want to get a hold of you, where can they reach out and ask questions?
So as we said, I'm a faculty veterinarian at Colorado State University.
So basically get a degree is what they need to do.
Basically go ahead and get a degree. That's, that's probably the long route to getting there. But I'm accessible at anna.bracken@colostate.edu.
Perfect. Thank you, Dr. Bracken. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful day and stay warm.
Thank you. Will do.
Recharge your training program with Equestrian Plus. Equestrian Plus brings together top riders, trainers, and professionals onto one video platform. Watch over 5,000 how-to training videos, clinic and event footage, exclusive training sessions, and more, featuring top experts including 5-time dressage Olympian Stefan Peters, 5-time Olympic show jumper Ann Krasinski, Olympic eventer and silver medalist William Fox Pitt, and more. Join Equestrian Plus now and use promo code HRN15 for 15% off your first month. Visit EquestrianPlusPLUS.com to subscribe.
Time to learn why some days you're embarrassed to be part of the human race. In Jamie's Weird News.
That's right. It's time for Weird News, which is the time where, thankfully, so many of you have so many strange things happening where you live that you will see an article and you'll think, oh my God, that's super weird. And you'll email it to me, weirdnews@horseradionetwork.com. Just like, okay, remember, it's been a couple weeks. Delia, Janelle, Stephanie, Shelley, Jennifer, Anna, Amanda, Claire, Matt, Thomas, April, Charlotte, Jolene, Michelle, and Rosemary all did. And I really appreciate it. I'm not going to tell you who sent what because it's none of your business where they get their news. Because y'all, some of these things, y'all are having so much fun sending me inappropriate news stories. And again, I highly encourage it. But we're going to start and end today. Glenn, where are we going to start and end?
Oklahoma.
No, we're going to start and end in Florida. Because they're just bad people everywhere. And I just wanted to let you know that a man named Jeffrey...
Mostly in Florida, apparently.
Yeah, they're pretty bad in Florida. Jeffrey Moynihan pled guilty to no contest to charges against him. And he is now behind bars for at least a year and probably 30 years of probation. What did he do? Sweet Jeffrey Moynihan and befriended a 74-year-old woman from Texas on Facebook. Prosecutors say that this kind of stuff happens to where like somebody will befriend a senior person who may not have a whole lot of contact with individuals, which reminds you to reach out to your seniors in your life. Because what did this guy do? He messaged this 74-year-old woman on Facebook and said, "Hi, my name is Elon Musk. And I've got an opportunity for you," and scam this poor lady out of like $600,000.
Oh, wow.
And promised to pay. He was like, "You're going to make $56 million. Very specific numbers, $56 million in return. And, yeah, it's not Elon Musk. He doesn't even look like him. Not at all. Not at all. So if somebody reaches out to you and says, "Hi, I'm Elon Musk and I need your money," no, they don't. They don't. He doesn't. Even if it is him, don't give him any money. He doesn't need it.
I got some real tricky ones lately, too. I've gotten some tricky emails lately that I almost fell for. And I was like, oh,
really?
Yeah, I need to double check this. And 2 of them appeared to be from Facebook, even with the same return address that Facebook actually uses. But apparently that's a new scam going around. Be careful out there.
Y'all just trust no one. Only trust somebody who's like, I don't know, knocking on my door with papers. Is it a sheriff? If it's a sheriff, I'll trust you. Otherwise, and I'm going to look at never mind. I don't even trust them. Never mind. Trust no one. This one's so scary and weird, but this is a story of there's a toddler and he lives in Washington State and he is out playing in the yard. I don't know. It's his front yard. And he's out there and he finds something in the grass. He's 3 and he finds something in the grass and he brings it into the house and he hands it to his parents. And he's like, however 3-year-olds say, "Look what I found." Can you guess what he found, Glenn, and handed to his parents in their kitchen?
I'm going to guess either a snake or a very large spider.
I think that would be a much better option than the live grenade that he found in his front yard. Well, he brings in the grenade and they're like, "Oh God, oh God." So they're like, "What do we do?" And so they hold the grenade in their hand and they cautiously walk outside to their shed that they have out back and they set the grenade down gently. And there's pictures of it. It's like a rusted looking grenade. They set it gently down in the shed and they quickly walk back into the house and they call the police. So the Washington State Patrol then deploys a bomb squad to head to the house. They go out with all their bomb gear on and they find this grenade and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's live."
It wasn't fake?
It was not fake. It was a rusted grenade that resembled one during World War II. And they don't know where it came from. They don't know how it got there. And they don't know how the dang kid found it. Did somebody put it in their yard? Was it like come out of the ground?
Do you think it was in the yard and just come up out? I don't know. Or somebody, who would throw it there? That'd be weird.
Yeah, I don't know. But apparently if he'd have pulled that pin,
ooh.
I mean, woo, so scary. But anyway, they found the grenade. He said devices like these, there are novelty grenades that are made somewhere without any manufacturer dates. So it had no discernible identification on it whatsoever. But they did say, the bomb technician said, "Yep, it's live." And it's been in the dirt for a long time.
Wow. Good lucky kid.
I know, right? Oh, so scary. Do you like gummy bears, Glenn? Like gummy treats, Haribo, and all those things?
Yeah, I like gummy bears, but I haven't. Oh, Swedish fish were the best.
That's your go-to?
Swedish fish were my go-to when I was a kid. You could buy them for a penny each in those days.
Oh, wow. Well, my husband's favorite, and it's funny, is he loves the gummy colas. Like those, they look like little cola bottles.
Yeah.
And they're Haribo. And so there's a guy in Yorkshire that
he doesn't like the wax ones that had the liquid in it.
No. They're like Haribo cola bottles. They're like maybe like an inch tall, and they're like these.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so there's a guy in England, and he was craving. His name is Nathan Remington. He's 33, and he was craving some gummy cola bottles. Ironically, it's the same kind my husband likes. So what does he do? He goes on Amazon and orders a bag. But like to make it worth the while of having gummy colas shipped to your house overnight, he bought the 3 kilogram bag, which for those of us playing at home in America is 6.7 pounds.
He bought 6
That's a
pounds
lot. Yes, so he bought basically almost a 7-pound bag of gummy cola bottles. And so he gets them and he starts mowing them down, dude. He mowing them down. And he doesn't eat the whole bag at once. But then the next night he's like, I'm really wanting some more. And on the third night post dinner, he finished the bag.
6 pounds.
Now, let's go with 7 because it's a lot closer to 7 than 6. And they said he consumed almost 11,000 calories.
Oh my God.
Now, if you're going to eat 7 pounds of gummy cola,
can I guess?
How do you think you're going to feel?
Colic. You're going to feel colicky.
You're going to colic. Well, it's safe to say he did colic because apparently they say a day or two later, he began experiencing excruciating stomach
I bet he did.
So he didn't feel any better. He waited a whole day. The next day he scheduled an appointment and went in, and they said that his blood pressure was skyrocketing. He was excessively sweating and had massive cramps. And the hospital staff was like, "Oh my God, Nathan, you must be suffering from severe food poisoning." And so they run all the blood work to see what it is, and his blood test showed high off the chart levels of gelatin. I don't know how you can blood test for gelatin, but that is when he decided to admit what he'd done. After all of that, apparently gelatin can trigger bowel blockages when eaten in large amounts. I mean, gelatin is disgusting anyway.
Tell me they stuck a tube down his nose and put some oil in it.
He got diagnosed with acute diverticulitis, which I don't know how. I would imagine it was something stuck up his butt, is what I think, because they had to flush all of it out. He had an infection of a large bowel and swelling. He had to have IV drips. He was in the hospital for 2 weeks. And he says that he is not going to eat them anymore. And he hasn't bought any, except for now, all of his friends, when he got out of the hospital, all of his friends sent him 7-pound bags.
I bet they did. I was thinking about your husband eating them in the cockpit and how much crap he must get from the co-pilot.
Oh my gosh! Well, I get him those for in his stocking, but other than that, no, don't buy those because he'll eat them. He would be the same. He would be Nathan.
I have never had one. Of the one you're talking about, I've never had one.
Go ahead, try it. Just try one, not 7 pounds.
Not 7 pounds.
God, we're learning so much today.
Colic. It's amazing. Yeah.
He colicked. That's what he had.
Do you know what? That's an expensive snack attack he had.
2 weeks in the hospital. Yeah. Okay. Now we're going to finish up our weird news today in St. Petersburg, Florida. That's right. We start in Florida.
It's a beautiful place.
Are you familiar with St. Pete?
Right by Tampa.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, if you see a guy, he's 43 years old and his name is Justin Farley, just avoid that guy. Okay. So I'm going to walk you through what he did. Okay. So he parked his car outside of a Circle K, and then he went inside the Circle K and he decided to rob the Circle K of all of its scratch off tickets. So he goes in there, he rips the cabinets open and grabs all of the scratch off tickets from the Circle K. So he goes to his car and drives off, and he presumably scratches off all of the scratch off tickets that he stole. So then he goes down the street to the 7-Eleven because he actually won $7,000 on his scratch offs. So he goes to the local 7-Eleven and they're like, "I'm sorry, this seems very sketchy," because they scan them. And they're not live, I don't think, unless I don't know how it works. But they were like, no. So what does Justin Farley do, Glenn?
He robs them too?
He goes back to where he stole them and tries to cash them in. Now, I will give him a little credit. When he went in to cash them in, he had changed his shirt.
Oh, there you go.
So this time... And it's only about 45 minutes after he committed the robbery. He scratched them all off, went to a gas station down the street. They wouldn't help him. And so he went back to the original gas station, but had the presence of mind to change his shirt. Now, when they did not help him the second time, you would think, that guy should probably get in his car and leave. No, what does he do? He goes back to his car, puts on a mask, grabs a plastic handgun that looks like a plastic handgun, comes in, holds the gun at the clerk and was like, just give me all your money. She opens the drawer, gives him the money that's in, there's $120. So that's not enough for him. And he's like, get to the back of the store. And he walks to the back of the store and grabs a bunch of cigarettes on the way back. Because, like, I mean, obviously, you got to get some Newports before you go and you do all this. Anyway, he has been caught and has been arrested. And he is in jail.
That is the most Florida man story of any Florida man story.
Right?
I am shocked, though. I know the lottery can, every one of those cards is coded and they know which stores would get which, and they can turn them off so that you can't cash them. But to happen that fast is a miracle.
I mean,
because by the time he got there,
hot.
Yeah, they had flagged him already. That's pretty good. Well, at least the Florida Lottery Commission's on the ball.
Somebody's doing their work.
and I'm going to come back to drugs are bad.
Drugs are bad, people. Drugs.
Where do they send weird news?
You can send them to weirdnews@horseradionetwork.com.
Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. Auditors, hold on. We have a post show for you. We're going to talk about some random stuff, have a couple of announcements for the auditors as well. And Jamie and I will be back here on Friday with another batch of really bad ads. Get your ads into Jennifer at horseradionetwork.com. Be safe, everybody.
Bye, Spay Neuter Guild.